Good evening, everyone. My name is Rich DeMalley, and I'm the superintendent of schools, and we welcome you tonight to our final budget hearing before the budget vote next Tuesday, May 21st. Polls will be open from noon to 8 p.m. And we encourage you to come out and vote. So without further ado, we have about 30 minutes for this presentation. And I'm going to hand it over to our business manager, Mr. Chris Rader. Mr. Rader, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So this is our budget hearing. This is just a review of the other presentations that we have done. So you can find all this information in detail on the website.
Maybe to that one, Chris? Point it to that one.
Nope, it is this one.
Oh.
It's asleep.
Okay. And our budget hearing goal is to provide our business direction through transparency and detail. And note our number of projections still are fluid, and the fact that we always don't know when the state aids are official, but we kind of move monies around. And these will be the key points of tonight's hearing. We'll look at the three-part budget of the administrative program and capital. We'll talk about expenses and revenue estimates, our school district budget notice. We'll also talk about the estimated fund balance and our estimated property tax. So in our three-part budget, you'll see the green is the administrative lines, the blue is the capital line, and the yellow-orange is program. The administrative costs are about 10% of our school budget. Capital is 16%. Program is 74%. And you'll see the different changes. Here's the appropriations budget for this coming budget compared to last year's, the difference, and our total percent difference. And here are our estimated expenditures, broken again by each of the part of the budget. So our administrative line, you'll actually see a decreased change of almost $200,000 from this year to last year. And that was mostly because of the changes of the our business office. We're moving out of the FEH BOCES world, and we're actually becoming a forever employed business office. The capital, we are putting extra money into the operation of our plant. That's where you'll see the extra almost $50,000. We are no longer looking at historical, but because Steve is here, we were able to look at what his true needs for our building is. And we also have an instructional program, which has also increased $730,000 over last year, because there's a lot of programs that we would like to continually develop, and that's how that is. Nice. Here is our estimated revenues. We will decrease the levy, just $85,000. It is still the tax cap of 2.36. Other income we have increased because some of that is extra classroom that we're trying to create with the special education needs. We also have our state ed projection. That is not including the fact that the state has kind of created the hold harmless. So we actually will be, foundation will be the same as last year. So that 85,000 negative, that's actually going to be a zero. But that is our revenue streams to balance our budget. This is our budget notice. As you see, we don't want contingency, although we have to present contingency. That means that we get rid of all of the things that are extra. So such things as equipment. We want to make sure that we have the needs of our school. So we're really looking at the proposed budget again of an increase of $936,774. It is a 7.53% increase over last year. Looking at the consumer price index, right now that is a 4.12, and again broken down into the specific components of the capital part of our budget. And our estimated fund balance right now, we are landing about $2.6 million. We are appropriating $500,000 to balance the budget. Again, anything that we don't use to balance the budget, it will go back to fund balance. And We're trying to hit that 4%, because if we can get to 4% or a little bit lower, the governor will not be spotlighting forever, so we can make sure that we get the state aids of next year, making sure we get all the aid that we need. So we're trying to be creative in the business office to make sure we're pushing it into revenues, into reserves, just making sure that, again, we are landing at a lower fund balance. This is a presentation of the estimated property taxes. You'll see the differences between no star, basic star, and enhanced. But we took a $100,000 assessment, and that's, again, if you want to just multiply your house on what your assessment is, you can do 18.59 per whatever thousand your assessment is, and then you can come up with what you are estimating your property tax will be regarding the no star, basic star, or enhanced. The star savings are also presented, so if you are receiving the basic star, it is $536 off that total. If you are an enhanced star, it's $1,072 off the total. And again, these are estimates. The school also has approved the firefighter exemption as well, so this is just, again, overlanding based on assessment value. Any questions?
Well, Chris, before you get into that, let's start and go over real quick. So I just want to highlight a few things for the crowd. Because if I'm sitting in your seat, here's the questions I'm going to have. So if you go to the first one, here's the big number that I'm questioning, right? Why are we $1 million almost over the budget from last year, okay? But, and why are we 7.5% over, okay? The problem is that when we were talking mergers and we were talking about moving over to South Glens Falls, the long story short is nothing was done to upgrade the building. So in 3 years, we've not really had a lot of things going on to upgrade our building, HVAC, minimal things such as maintenance. I don't know if you know, but when I first came here 2 years ago, we had 1 boiler running. There were 7. We had to have an emergency boiler project, so now we have new boilers. Now with new boilers comes, we have to create the whole system of now switches and all these other things. Then the other question is, Rich, why is the expenses going so much up for the building when you're trying to get a new capital project? Okay, the problem is once we pass the capital project, we really don't break ground for another 1.5 years. And some of the things in our building cannot wait another 1.5 years to fix. So most of what we're talking about here is going to go back into our building. We do have some programming things that we're trying to create revenue streams in, and that's where this 7.5 comes in. But I want to say this, the best part about this budget is if you fast forward and went to Chris's fund balance, where we were, keep going slow. If you went to the fund balance all the way at the end, where we have a little over 2.5 in fund balance, we're able to stay at the tax cap and not raise taxes any more than that and keep the adjusted tax levy under where we're supposed to. So the positives are we can, number one, afford to do this. We can upgrade our building, we can increase programs, and we can service the children what they need and give them what they deserve and need as a small village school. Because unfortunately, I'm not saying they have not had it in the past, but we've been able to kind of just be, I guess, meet the minimum, if that makes sense. Our children deserve top quality, top notch, and that's what we're trying to bring here in this budget. Go back through, there's the fund balance. If you go back through, the other highlight I had was, keep coming back, one more time. And right here, we've noticed that we do have a decrease in our administrative budget. These parentheses mean negative, so we're -12 in our administrative budget. Obviously, we're up 23% in our capital, and that's where it comes in at $347,000, where we want to maintain our building, give Steve something to work with so he can fix what needs to be fixed. And also, one of the big things that you should realize is when we got to the boiler project, we almost didn't get there because we were not doing preventative maintenance to some key components of the school. So that's where some of that is. We are now providing preventative maintenance for our new boilers. We're providing preventive maintenance for our tech, switches, and all of those things. And that's where that increase comes. And I think, and you have another increase here in instructional program, but again, we're adding a new special ed program. We're adding some TAs, and we are adding one administrator to the budget. And if I sat where you sat, that's where I would think that the other one is. Why so much here? Okay, this is the appropriated fund balance. The governor has stated and put $2 million into looking at the state aid formula. So she bumped us all back up to safe harmless, and we got back what we were supposed to, but it's very clear that we need to have some things for that rainy day, because I feel that is coming. Her message is spend down your fund balance, and we're gonna relook at the formula. So the read between the lines is, we're gonna cut your state aid in the next couple of years. So we have to be prepared for that. And that's what we're doing. And fortunately, through Chris's office, we used our ESSER funds wisely by not putting it into reoccurring costs. We invested in the building a little bit, and we invested wisely in some of our savings, and we were able to get some of that. That's how we have some of that fund balance, through some of those things. So back to you, Chris. I just wanted to make sure that we got those points. And any questions you may have.
No questions? Thank you very much.
Good shot, Chris. I don't want to start the capital project presentation too early in case someone wants to come for that, so I guess we'll have a 5 or 10 minute break before that happens. Start at that at 6 o'clock. Okay, thank you.
I don't know. Unless I can wait till like at least mute us while we do that.
I believe I can.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to our capital project hearing. My name again is Rich DeMelli. I'm the superintendent of the school. And what I want to direct you to is our website. Our website is a wonderful stream of information for you. But for this purpose, we actually have a capital project icon on our top of our website. And it has all of the information that you need to stay informed for the next week. And if you have any questions, you can always call the school.
I'd rather all those goddamn school.
What?
What'd you change it?
How are you, sir?
These?
Yes, sir.
I want to know.
All right. So again, right here we are with the capital project. And you just click on that. And it'll bring you right to this page. I also want to thank our members in the crowd who are part of this project. We have Representative from Tetra Tech, Garrett, is here, and our construction management team of Eric Robert and Paul One from Schoolhouse. So if you have any questions, they can also help us today as well. All right, so vote on May 21st. We're looking at safety security improvements, facility improvements, roof repair, and HVAC. I won't bore you with this video, but I will just click on it, and you get to see me again. And it's a quick 2-minute show, and I just tell you basically what we're doing to improve the school in a quick 2 minutes. So the theme of our capital project has been fortify our future. We're looking at a $14.7 million project, which is tax neutral, okay? What does tax neutral mean? All right, what that means is, for this capital project, we get 90 cents back on each dollar that we spend through state aid. But 10% has to come from the school. Now, 10% is about $1.2 million. We have already saved that, and that expense will be put toward the capital project. So again, we do not have to raise taxes past the tax cap or past the increase of the tax levy. Again, the tax cap is at 2.36, and the actual increase of the tax levy is 2.42, okay? And again, for a $200,000 house in Fort Edward, it's approximately $88 from last year, or about $7.33 per month for a $200,000 home at assessed. And that's without STAR. So what are we looking at? Okay, so we got proposed safety enhancements. As you can see, this is the front of the school where we have uneven and cracked sidewalks. So not good for those things, right, sir? So we don't want that on those sidewalks. And obviously, we have some uneven roadways and some uneven sidewalks there, and our parking lot has been, hasn't been upgraded in a little while, so we're gonna be doing that. There's that sidewalk there again. You can see the patchwork that we've had to do, and that's through our buildings and grounds, and they've done as much as they can with what we've had, so we thank them. And again, this is our track, but we're using it as a roadway for pickup and drop off. We'll be bringing that up. Now, here is our 3D renderings of what our school will look like after the project. New sidewalks, new handrails, enhanced lighting. The school will be, I guess, I'm going to equate it to new siding on your home. So you look at the front of the school, and you see that the brick is all dirty, and there's kind of corrosion on the brick. Some of it's deteriorated in between the bricks. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to enhance that front of the building for a nice facade as people drive by. Again, there we are with enhanced stairs and handrails and walkways. New lighting. This is our main office currently. What we try to do is, for safety purposes, keep people out in that vestibule. If anybody's visited the vestibule in the winter, we aren't able to heat that vestibule because of our HVAC, which again goes back to our budget, where we need to increase heating in that area if we're going to keep our place secure. The other part is we had to install this makeshift mailbox right here. Because what we try to do is we have people put their licenses through there, we run it through our Raptor system and provide them with visitation. Raptor's right here. The problem is this isn't the most secure because then once we Raptor them in, we allow them in for heat, warmth, and comfort. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that and the principal or administration is nowhere near this area. So what we're going to do is we're going to upgrade this to more of a drive-through bank window. We're going to move the principal closer to this office. So we're going to create extra space, and we're going to heat that outside vestibule and make that a more comfortable place. So if you have to wait out there, then you'll be in comfort, but you'll also be locked in and not be able to break the seal of our school, if we don't want you to, of course. Again, this is kind of what I was talking about. That's the current setup. So once people are in here, this door locks from the outside. You can't get in, but people can get out this way. We want to make sure we want to secure that. Our facility improvements, again, is the roof. One of our board members told me these panels are original to the school, I believe. Okay? Or original to at least that addition to the school. And I will tell you this, I have a student liaison committee, and they specifically asked if we could replace those with new. So I said, you know what, we're going to try to put that in, and we have. So we're going to be replacing that. This floor, I don't know if you've ever walked on that floor, but the floor, we thought about replacing the whole floor. We could not do that, unfortunately. But what we're going to do is we're going to take that down to the surface. We're going to put new lines and resurface that area. And that's what we're going to do with the gym. And we're also going to AC that gym. Yes, sir?
What feedback you get on the floor life there? I remember when I was on the board, it was more than 10 years ago when I got off. But back then, J.J. Curran told us they only had one more takedown left in that floor.
That's a great question. Did we have someone come in and measure it? Because we had that question too.
Yeah, we've taken it down twice during the time I was on there. And they said you only have one more, and then that floor has to be replaced.
Okay, so this would be our one.
This is the one time since then?
Yes,
Wow.
from what I understand.
Okay.
Is that correct, Eric, or don't we?
My knowledge, yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Chris, for that question. But you're right. I know that Paul and Eric and Garrett, they said, we do have to do a measurement to make sure. And we all felt that it was pretty close that we could get it done. If not, I will definitely let you know. But right now, that's the plan. And from what I understand, we do have one left. So thank you. Again, back to the, the windows are still under a warranty. I think they're still, is that correct?
They're out of warranty, but they're still.
Right, so we're not going to replace those. But again, if you look, the staining of the brick on the first floor high school, and then, as shown, the mortar in the original brickwork needs to be repointed. So I'm gonna bounce this. Can you define what repointing is? Because I could not.
So the mortar joints shown in that picture, you see the bricks and then the lines between the bricks.
Right there?
Yep, they'll chisel out the deteriorated mortar, that yellowish masonry material, and then replace that. So it's replacing the joints between the bricks.
Thank you. All right, here's our current playground. Our current playground is not what you would call ADA compliant. ADA is for students with disabilities to be able to use our equipment. So that is one thing we thought we really needed to upgrade. And this is the new rendering of what we want to do with our playground. We're going to resurface that playground to Fort Edward blue, put in our logo, and obviously put in equipment that can be utilized by every student and all students and all community members. Roofing improvements. You can see we have some flashing issues as you see here. Again, more flashing issues. Sorry, I'm not not too savvy with this smart board, I apologize. This is the big one, and Steve, if I mess this up, you can tell me. So see all of these, I don't know if you can see it from where you're sitting, but there are little circles here, and this is above the gymnasium. What that is they are, help me Steve.
You got fasteners in the
There you go.
roof, and when I was here, probably now it's about 2 or 3 years ago, when I first was here, I was on the roof and we had numerous leaks on the gym roof. They were over here, they were on this side, they were all over. And my thought was, the membrane that you're looking at on top is not functioning right, because back when Troy City put the roof on, they won the bid that year and put the roof on. It wasn't put on right according to what the material was underneath. In other words, when you look up in the gym and see that material there, that material, it should have been fastened with a different fastener. So it was all done. Unfortunately, by the time I started pushing to try to get warranty work done, we were out of warranty by 2021. Here we are, 2024. So we missed it trying to get it covered under warranty, because the people that put it in did not install it properly. So what does that leave us now? It leaves us with them kind of spots that Rich was talking about, that it's actually taken the fasteners because of the heating and the contracting of temperature. Is working on those fasteners. They're actually coming through the rubber, creating a leak. And we've patched and patched and patched, so that's now in the budget.
Thank you, Steve. And I don't know if most of you know, but on top of a roof, I didn't understand that till I got up there. It's like a rubber membrane. It's just a rubber membrane, kind of like a tire would be. And now you've got metal pieces flowing through that tire is basically what's happening. So that's where we're getting leaks. But fortunately, Steve has some knowledge where he's been able to repair that, save us some money on that, not having to call in true professionals to do it. I'd say that you're not that, but he's not a roofer as a trade. So again, more roofing here. There we go. Marking this up here. There we go. More roofing issues, as you can see. Roof ventilation, chimney. HVAC, we are gonna put air conditioning in the second floor of the elementary school. We've decided on 2 rooms of the high school, and again, AC in our gym. We also need to replace some of our top ceiling ventilation units. As you can see, there's some leaking here, and some of them are inoperable. Steve's done the best he could to work them, but again, teachers and students, they deserve a proper temperature, and we've been working on that. And, let's see if I can blast it somehow. And this is our kiln in the art room. Yeah, you want me to? Okay. And this is our air circulation unit. Thank you. Okay. Whoops. What did I do? I think we're both touching it. Okay. Can we get rid of that? Yeah. Oh, good. Thank you.
It was driving the extension back.
All right, good, thank you, I appreciate that. That's okay.
Yeah, I don't mind the birthday.
Okay, I think we're good. I'll have you come back and reset. So this is our air ventilation for our tech room, the 55-gallon drum there, and I'm not sure, we've patched that here. We've got our kiln here. It's kind of been patched together. So our projected timeline. January, next week, we have to go out to vote. which is the 21st. We encourage everybody to come out and vote. We finalize the projected design work May to January of next year. January to September, we go for a state ed review. October 25th to December 25th, we send out send project out for competitive bids. And then January to December is our construction phase. So this is the big scope breakdown. Safety and security at 3 million, facilities improvement at 2 million, roofing at 4.7, HVAC at 3.5, and all of that with the other expenses total up to 14.7. Now here's the big thing I want everybody to know, especially those hopefully listening through the internet. If you want a detailed breakdown, you would click right there, and this gives you everything that we're doing. So the sidewalk replacement at $72,000. Additional pole lighting at $48,000. Okay, I'm not gonna go through all of these, but you can see. It breaks it down. Replace select existing doors at $300,000. New main entrance for flashing, that's select flashing on the roof for $20,000. Again, so it's about 4 pages. I'm not going to bore you with it all, but you can go through and, again, you can look at that. So, see if I can.
It'd be the tab in the top left corner.
Thank you. There we go. And here's kind of a nice thing. This is hey, Rich, come on. This is kind of animated, and it just rolls through. That's what the existing looks like, and then these are the 3D renderings of what we'll have when we're done. And I believe that's the bottom of the page, so I'm going to leave that right there. And any questions? Yes, sir.
I think the capital project is good, but it's all paid for, 1.2 million out of the fund balance.
Yes, sir.
So that's, you just said a while ago, $88 for 2,000. That goes to the general fund, and it has nothing to do with the capital project.
Correct.
So I just want to get that clear.
Yes, sir. You are correct.
It's paid for.
It is paid for, sir. Yep, but it's paid for by monies that was already in and spent by tax stop, by tax fee. Just so you know. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Obviously, there's a reason why you chose the gym, but I was just thinking of the cubic footage in that gym to chill that down. I'm just looking at how many teaching stations around the high school and could have been, I don't know, subbed instead of doing that one station. And I understand you got to distribute the chill, you know, but they have those mini split systems. I don't know. I'm looking at one station over in that high school. I know that over there. That gets warm over there.
Yeah, especially.
I've seen these little kids with their arms stuck to their tests, their regents. You know, I'm just questioning why one station, the size of the, you know, the cubic footage, why that wasn't divided up, you know,
Yeah.
within individual stations.
Well, I believe, and then this is me guessing, so I'm hoping we get more. We did assess trying to do the whole high school. Within the money allotment that we had, we couldn't do it. We had to select areas. So believe it, and then when we looked at what we could do with the elementary, because we hold summer session for our elementary enrichment, so that's why we chose over here. We chose the gym because it is in community space that we can rent out during the summer that's used by many other facilities. We can bring in some revenue. And also in June, we could use that as our mass testing site. And then, you know, we can also use the 2 rooms that we selected there. Fortunately, we're small enough where 2 rooms could help us Regents-wise, like you were talking about, and we could also use that as a mass testing site there. And to be very frank with you, I kind of polled the kids and polled the staff, and when we had to make some key decisions, that's kind of the direction that they went. Am I missing anything else?
I think you said well, Rich. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Any other questions? Well, I want to thank all of you for coming tonight. I want to thank anybody, if you have, we threw a lot at you. We threw a half hour of the budget presentation, from 5:30 to 6, and then we threw the capital project at you. Yes, sir?
How come you're 5:30 to 6? It says 6 o'clock. I'm here at 6. Did you do the general fund balance?
We did do the general fund.
Why did you do it? Why did you do it at 5:30? Because 6 o'clock was the meeting, it's right on here.
6 o'clock is,
Can you change it to
No,
5:30?
the general meetings, it says.
Yes, for the general fund. Did
the
you-
budget,
The
what
budget.
would you like to know about the budget?
The
I
budget.
can answer any question right now
Well,
if you
for
want
one
to.
thing, I don't think it should be an increase.
An
If you
increase,
check your figures, the state aid figure is, wait a minute, I wrote it down. A lot of the questions I have would have been answered if you put the pamphlet out instead of waiting to the last day. Which normally it's out 2 weeks before the budget meeting. Somehow it'll come out on Friday when I couldn't get a hold of anybody.
oh, okay.
I was trying to get a hold of the business office, no, but I would've, I'd have got 2 weeks in advance.
You're here today, what questions do you
Yeah,
have?
It always has been, looks like, somebody's hiding something or something.
I would disagree with that statement.
Well, to me, you can't do anything when you get it the last day.
Understood,
So I'll have to give you these here now.
that's great, I'm
The
glad,
state aid figure is wrong.
okay?
State aid is, your fountain aid is the same harvest, you're gonna get the same aid you got last year. Right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
All right, now take a look at the budget. If you take the budget and take, down here.
How long did the budget hearing, did it go the full half hour? Because I do think, I showed up at 6 because I thought the whole thing started at 6. I
Sure.
don't wanna speak for you also, I
Yeah.
just came in around 6. And then, so I think there was confusion because there were 2 different things rolling on the same night, which was the budget hearing and then capital project.
Yep.
Capital project thing, I saw multiple things about starting at 6 o'clock, so I automatically thought everything started at 6 o'clock.
Sure.
I didn't see anything until today on Class Dojo, after I got here, and was like, I think I just missed the budget hearing. So I may be remiss in, I know that you guys have a meeting that starts
Yeah.
at 6:30. Would it be too much of a pain? Because I don't know if some of your questions maybe, I don't know how many people have been here
No,
since
you're right, you're
5:30,
fine.
and I'm sorry, but I'm throwing that out there as an idea. If we, could we go through,
Yeah.
are you folks here at
Give us
5:30?
15
I'm sorry,
minutes
so
to
I
go
don't wanna
through.
make
No, that's
everybody
fine.
sit through it again.
We
All
might
right,
have
Chris.
questions.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
But it was,
I was gonna suggest that anyways.
With the
Just
two
15
things-
minutes to roll through
okay,
it.
because with the 2 things happening at the same time, I
Yeah.
think we just missed the boat
Can I
up
give-
to
can I give-
5:30.
Yeah.
Is that okay to?
Yeah, can I give you the figures, what I got?
Give us 1 second, we're gonna put up the other one. Chris is our business manager. He's gonna let him roll through for 10 or 15 minutes. It might answer your question. Would that be fair?
Yeah, he was the guy I usually would talk to, but, this came too late.
Understood. And just for the public knowledge though, I just want everybody to know, we did have 4 budget hearing meetings prior to
Yes.
this,
Yep.
which went over each of these things. And, we believe that we advertised those well. Maybe we didn't advertise this as well as we should. That's fine. We're not opposed to doing this over again for the benefit of the people that just walked in. So Casey's gonna reboot that up and, Chris will take it over and take 2.
I have to do it. Went to the auditorium. Took me a while. I've been in the custodian. Oh, just. Yeah. I wasn't in time to start.
We're doing take 2 on the budget thing, so you got lots of time.
Screwed up mess. So then it's at 6 o'clock.
It's
Try. Every Monday's a new try there, my friend.
I think it's on the
Every
website.
Monday's a new try.
Just, I'm the tech guy here for this, so if it's any comfort, we do keep a recording of it because we're live streaming it through YouTube. YouTube will naturally keep a recording of when we went through it before.
Yep.
So you'll be able to check that and with them going through it now.
I think for Mr. Jake, it'd be a lot better just.
You know, I agree, it's worth going through again, but the option is there.
Thanks, everybody, again. Thank you for being here. So our budget hearing, our goal again is always to provide our business direction through transparency and detail. And I really want to make sure that's clear. We're not hiding anything. This is truly a clear picture on our finances. Every cent is allocated. And if you go back again for all the other presentations, we are very much to the cent. So we do take that to heart. We really try to make sure that all our monies from the community are used and we are transparent there. I did note that the number projections are fluid, which means sometimes they do change. State aid runs do come out sometimes at the last minute. So I will explain that a little bit in a second. So the way our budget hearing is going to be broken down, we have the 3-part budget of the administrative program capital. We'll talk about expenditures and revenue. We will then also present the school district budget notice, which is a requirement. Also estimated fund balance and estimated property tax. So here is our 3-part budget, again broken down with administrative being green, capital being blue, and the yellow-orange being programmatic. 10% is our administrative cost, 16% is our capital, and 74% will be for our program. And those expenses are here on the side, broken down into each category. Our budget projection will be $13,386,431. There is a difference of almost $1 million, but a lot of that is because we had to absorb the ESSER monies for those we used for salaries, so that was a $400,000 price tag. But we also have plans to improve our building, which for years was not really taken care of. So some of those expenses have been incurred because of the years of not investing into our school. That's where that impact will be. The difference is 7.5%. And again, this is how we break it down. Some of the savings we were able to with the administrative, just because of the bringing your business office back to home. So we actually have a forward employed business office now. We're no longer going through a BOCES. So the investiture of bringing back not only optically for our community, that you were the only one out of the 31 component districts of our WISHU BOCES that outsourced your business office. Your business office will be here at home, and we actually are going to take the monies to heart. We really try to do the best that you can do. Trying to strategize how to invest our monies wisely. Capital project, again, as we mentioned, with the operation of our plant. For years, that was not invested. When we did the boiler projects, which mentioned earlier, some of our problem, which even to get through that emergency boiler project, was that we really weren't maintaining our boilers. So what happened is we kind of got the blessing of the state to get that extra boiler money, but we were not investing in our plant. We were not putting money back into our facility. Instructional program, we are doing the extra classrooms for special ed, but we are also increasing that program line $731,000. And here are our estimated revenues. Some of the confusion is the state aid projection was based on the one right before. This governor provided the state harmless. So that $85,000 difference is actually not a difference. It becomes a zero line. And so that's $85,000 more. Tax levy, we are increasing it slightly because we have the 2.36 tax cap. And that is our revenue stream. And this is our budget notice. That was part of your pathway, so if you have questions, please, we'll answer those in question. Here is our estimated fund balance. Our adjusted restricted fund balance, which we actually have, is $2.69 million. And we are going to use $500,000 of that to balance our budget. That's where our appropriated fund balance will be. Anything that we don't use to balance the budget, any kind of overage, that becomes part of fund balance for the following year. Case in point, for example, we actually did not touch any of that money from last year, so that actually becomes part of our whole. That's why we actually have the $2.69 million fund balance. And here's the estimated tax, property tax. So with assessed value over home of 100,000, it's going to be 1859 per thousand. So for a no star, it is 1,859, which is $44 for the whole entire year over last year, which is 367. And Rich did the math using a $200,000 assessment, it was $88 for the year. But that's how we break it down with the assessments with star and enhanced star. And now we'll take any questions.
Yes, I want to get into state aid.
Okay.
All right, in the book, you got a decrease in state aid, which is not true.
That is correct. I
All
just
right.
said that was.
Now, if you take the state aid figure, take last year's tax levy, the 907 other income you have on chart, take the fund balance, that will come right out to 13,385,000 with no increase this year. Now explain to me why you got a $44 increase on 100,000.
Well, again, the state aid projection was something that she just came out with. So we were going by that strategy and the fact that we were going to absorb $85,000 loss. We were not guaranteed the fact that she was able to reinstate that. So these projections and the way we navigated fiscally was based on not having any guarantees from the governor to reinstate.
Yeah, but you know right now, there should be no increase.
Well, the tax cap is also based on exclusions.
There should be no increase.
Well, the tax cap, again, is based on exclusions, so when we have projects or other things.
Based on anything, if you want, but I'm basing it on facts. Fact says no increase. Matter of fact, some of the items you got in here, which I questioned, was the school board. Give $12,000 more. What do they use? What do they need that for?
Well, we have increased, training.
Oh,
We've
come
increased
on.
board
No,
docs.
come on, now, I was on the school board for over 20 years. Don't give me that stuff.
Well, I think what happened in the past is we weren't always investing in our school district. Again, we want to be the best school, not just a flat line. This is a way that we were able to invest in better product, better ways of doing things, instead of just relying on.
They don't need to be operating on the $19,000. Yeah, $19,000 budget. Come on now. School board doesn't need that money.
So,
That's a good slush fund.
well, here's the thing, we have we have 5 board seats up.
We wish they had 9.
Thank you. We have 5 board seats up. We have 2 new members. We have 1 member who is not, probably less than a year or more. Those people need training. We need to be part of the New York State Boards Association. We have to have professional development. Times have changed, things have changed. We really need to upgrade our game if we're gonna service the children correctly, especially as a board.
What does the New York State School Sports Association membership cost? It used to be, when I was there, it was like $5,000.
$5,000.
It's still about that, but the investiture of that helped us get the SAS. One thing we did was we left money on the table, which was over $200,000 last year. Because of the BOCES relationship, we were able to access that.
Chris, what was the money gonna be used for?
The money on the table.
Who cares what the money was on the table? If there's
Well,
$1
we were
million
gonna
on
get
the table and I don't need that money, I'm not gonna try to get it. What was the money that we needed that we missed?
Well, that was based on our special education.
Okay.
So because of special education, we weren't always getting that money. Whether stacking was wrong, transportation, we also got about $7,000, but most of it was special ed. And these, this organization of SAS, which is called State Aid Specialists, they came in and did a thorough assessment. We didn't have the access because we weren't part of the board association. We're one of the last schools, there's like 50 in the state that are not part of the association. So best practice for schools operating at high levels means we need to probably be a part of organizations like that. And that's one of the reasons why we were able to bring back some of that money we would have lost.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
What does a school operating at a high level mean to you?
I believe that every student should achieve their own value and not just boxing them in. This gives you a pathway for their own personal success. And when you look at every individual student, you find a way to get their high level success.
You believe so you believe the money that you're talking about and being a high level school, it comes down to putting money directly into student welfare.
Everything that we do here should be centered focus around the children. So whether it be adding administrative to make sure it offsets any of the other, making sure we're level, making sure we have the systems that are in place to support those students, 100%. That should be focused on the students, and I think we're doing
A
that.
lot of this was, train as you go along,
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Train as you go along.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you train as you go along. You learn as you.
So we want to make more mistakes as we move along instead
No,
of
you
getting
don't make
trained.
mistakes, a lot depends upon you, the superintendent.
Yes,
Okay. They're usually gonna follow you,
okay.
or take your recommendations. If they don't think it's right, they're gonna say no. But then they look into it, but they don't need $19,000 to things. I'll get off that now. Now, the other one's the transportation, $51,000. What are you gonna do with that?
Well, we're hoping to reestablish our transportation. Right now, we don't transport anybody besides special ed. So,
What do you mean, I got 2 buses go by my house every day.
but it's
One
related
big one,
to,
one little one.
it's related to special education. There is no K through 3, there's no other ways to transport our children, and that's why we see, when we pick up students, why there's lines across our school. There's safety issues related to that. So our long goal is to establish better transportation for our students. And we have a long-range plan that includes the way we invest it.
Well, this is true that a lot of parents don't want their kids on the bus. A lot of kids walk.
We don't offer buses right now. We don't offer buses right now.
No.
And also being in charge of transportation now, I kind of disagree with that because a lot of our problems that we're having is related to people not being able to get their children on a bus to go to school. Our attendance rate, we believe, will be increased when we do invest in transportation. And I also feel that going through,
If you go out here at 2:45, you can't go anyplace. People are waiting to pick their kids up.
well, that's part of the problem. If we had a better transportation system, we wouldn't have lines backed up. Another thing from a financial standpoint, this is another way that we can bring back aid and revenue to our school. Transportation for Fort Everett is 90%, just like building aid. So if we start buying buses and we start putting it into transportation, we get 90% of that back within 5 years. So expense aid is a very smart way to invest your money so that you actually become, when you look at revenue streams, it becomes other income that you're getting aid
51,000
back.
is a lot of money.
Well,
The
it
other one-
costs a lot of money to run a school.
Yeah, sure. No, the golden egg is gonna go after a while. You know that, don't you? Another thing I wanted to first, I'm not too familiar with, but the $232 in pupil service, what did you do to that?
What was that one?
The pupil services, $232. What did you,
232,000 or 232?
232,
232,000?
32. Hey, Sharon, what you got out of here?
Dollar difference under instructional programs for pupil services.
Pupil services, 231,877.64.
That would be a special ed
We must
program.
have put a lot of people on.
That would be special education program, where we're adding a special ed program for our continuing services. So for example, if I was a special ed student, I would get my services right now, K, 1, 2, We have three, we don't have a third grade program, so that means we have to ship kids out and spend $50,000 a pop
Or
for
more.
those kids.
So some you have to send out.
Some we do, but it's expensive.
Yeah, you send them on a
So
tour.
now we're gonna create our own program so we can keep them here, get some money back, like T was talking about with stacking, and keep Fort Edward kids in Fort Edward. That's the goal.
And you guys are opening the doors to offer it up to other component districts as
100%.
well.
Yes.
The emails went out very timely as somebody who works in a component district. These are the times that we're making recommendations for where students need to go. And there was an email that went out to the listserv that indicates if you have a need for this classroom type with these age ranges, please reach out to the Director of Pupil Personnel. So there's also, that will bring money in also because as a component district, we're all struggling to find seats anywhere.
Thank you.
It's the reality of public school and having to educate all students.
Oh, yeah.
We have to.
There's no doubt about that.
And it costs an inordinate amount of money to send a student out of district. I don't agree with the cost, but it costs a lot.
Can I say something?
You think?
Chris had asked what you felt was a high-level school, is that what you said?
Yes.
So in my eyes, me personally, there has to be something in Fort Edward that creates some kind of draw for people to move here. So I moved around quite a bit. The two things that we look for and other people look for when you move around a lot or when you're trying to find a home is how are the schools and how is the crime? So we don't have a serious crime issue in Fort Edward.
As somebody with those numbers.
Not too bad. And I know you have those numbers, but I mean, you know, I look at other places, you know, that may be a little worse, but the one thing that we do have an opportunity to do in Fort Edward is to build this school up even better than it is. It's a great school and we all know that, but we need to rise up above other small schools. It's specifically in the Washington, Warren County area.
I guess my specific question goes to this. What does that mean? What does rise up mean? Does it mean make the building nice? Because I don't have any problem with the project. I think the project's fine. I mean,
No,
I personally would have replaced the gym floor, but that's not a complaint, right? That's not a complaint.
If our state aid would have stayed the same, that may have been a reality.
I get it, but unless you
But
could
what
cut
do I
something
mean by rise up and what do I mean by having a stellar school? It's a great
else.
question.
Let me ask more specifically.
Was that?
Let me ask more specifically.
Sure.
Do you think that has more to do with having a good school? Do you think that has to do more with everything has to come to money and theory
No.
and in projects and things? Not necessarily building.
No.
But how about inside the school right now, John? How do you
So-
think? Do you think that we're striving as a top-notch school district the way we run things on a day-to-day basis here? I'm just asking.
I think that we certainly are trying to take the steps to do that. And I think professional development is key for the teachers and administrators. And I think that leads down to the students when they see teachers and administrators that care about them, care about what they're doing, and create a curriculum or enforce a curriculum that helps those students be the best that they can be academically and extracurricularly. That is what we need to do, and we all need to take the steps in order to make that happen. So whether it's a capital project, which is really the icing on a cake, or the internal development of not only the students, but the staff and the administration, including a school board, which if a school board is not knowledgeable in education law or budgetary practices or legislative practices, then all we are is somebody that listens to somebody else and says, and that's not the function. The function is to ask questions, gain knowledge, and make decisions that are the best decisions for the taxpayers the students and the staffs of the school.
Well, that's why I
That's
said,
how you get better.
train as you go along, that's the only way you can learn, train as you go
Well,
along.
you're absolutely right, and I
have
don't
no-
disagree
I
with
have-
that.
I have no problems with the issues, as long as I got an explanation of what it is. As long as I know what you're gonna do with the buses, as long as I know what you're gonna do with more pupil services.
So when we had no
I
money,
agree with it. The only thing I don't agree with is the 88 cents for a $200,000 home, or $88. That budget is wrong. It should be zero. Matter of fact, we talked about that. It's gonna be neutral, it's gonna be neutral. And all of a sudden it becomes $44 a 100,000. It's not a lot of money, but just the idea, you keep adding it on and on and on. You're looking at $3,000-4,000 check you write out every year. I don't begrudge it because it's for the kids, but just the idea, I want to spend right.
Well, I think we can, I hope that we answered the questions so that you feel that we are spending that correctly. Because my goal as your superintendent is to bring pride to every human being here in this school, whether you're inside of it or out. And I think that begins with a top-notch school. When you empower the kids, when you empower the staff, when you empower the board to have voices to what they want to do. And that to me is a top-notch school that performs. So I hope you understand today what we're doing with the spending. If you have any questions after this, we'd love to answer them before you cast your vote. Yes? Amanda?
I just wanted to make a statement that I think that it's a really smart budget because you're going out at the cap. There's a lot of, the thing that has me scared the most is what is going to come of foundation aid after this year.
Yes.
The governor made it very, very clear, and all stakeholders, foundation aid needs to be
It's a directive.
revamped. It 100% needs to be
Yes, sir.
revamped. It definitely does. It's archaic, it doesn't make any sense the way that it is right now. However, with the revamping, we don't know what that is going to look like. And so where all of the districts really are lying in the business office, superintendent's office, is go out at your cap because you need to have a cushion in your reserves. Because if that foundation aid does not come through the way that it needs to, that's your only direct aid that's coming from the state. Everything else is expense aid. So however that rolls, we know it doesn't look good if we go out, if we go out below our tax cap, and then next year we have to go out and say, oh, we left money on the table last year, and so now we have to go out above and beyond, and because foundation aid isn't coming in. So I personally feel, and professionally, working in a school and hearing the foundation aid conversations and doing the reading on it, I feel that it's a smart budget, and I appreciate the fact that we are keeping a cushion in the reserves because we don't know what that's going to look like in the future. They say it will be revamped by next year. I doubt it. I don't think that's possible. There's going to be too many hands in the pot, but time will tell, and we need to be planful because it's the only direct aid that districts get.
Thank you. I couldn't have said it better, and I might have said it the same thing about 15, 20 minutes ago, so that was
Oh, you have
fantastic.
extra income coming in next year, the pilot program will come into effect next year.
Say it one more time,
The
sir.
the pilot program, that'll be good, it's about 200,000.
Yes, and that's coming, they expect
Yeah, that
2027.
comes in next year.
Yes,
Chris,
sir.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
On the budget with the use of the fund, how much did you use out of the fund balance?
500,000.
500,000, so,
No, you didn't, you used 1.2 for the project.
well, not the project, I'm talking about the budget.
That is.
Well, just, I mean, this year's budget.
Oh,
Appropriated fund balance, yep.
So, you used 500 to keep it flat,
Yeah.
so are those being used for program? Is that money being used for program?
Yes, we're adding a special ed program, as we stated. We're adding, with that, adding a teacher. We're adding,
Cleaner.
a cleaner.
How are you gonna make that money up next year? Because you're gonna have to carry over that 500 to start your budget, so how do you make that up? Or do you just continue to go 500?
What we've been
Because then
doing
you're
too,
running balance.
we're doing a lot of investitures in the expense aids. So we're seeing if we invest in the BOCES, we invest in some of the transportation, we will get some of this money back in revenue streams.
You're trying to get revenue on the backside?
That's exactly what we're doing.
There you go.
Listen, you should, even with the 1.2 and the 5, you still should have about $1 million in fund balance, all right?
Yes, we actually do.
All right, and also you
Yeah,
got
more than
you got $2.9 million that wasn't allocated last year. Where did you put that money?
Reserves,
Yep.
Where did it go? What,
the capital project reserve.
no, it didn't go to capital project. Capital project amount unbalanced.
We didn't have a
They
capital
made
project.
a capital project reserve last year.
We didn't have one last year. We created that last year.
But thank you for making the point of the tax cap. It is a smart decision to go into the tax cap because that allows you to have more flexibility. You're not handcuffed, and I think if you look historically with whatever, some of our problems is we weren't always going into tax cap. And so we've been able to see our fiscal future and.
You gotta remember though, during Patterson, every year, and people don't understand what gap elimination was.
Oh, yeah.
Every year, we got hundreds of thousands of dollars less state aid than we got the year before.
Yeah.
So we did that for like 5 years. We lost almost $1 million in state aid.
Right.
During that one period, and all the costs went up.
Correct.
So there was scrambling going on during those times.
100%.
We're trying to avoid.
If we need, we can use that 2.9 wherever you put it into the fund balance, right?
You can,
If we need to.
we could.
So we're looking at,
And we don't like to
Pretty
say
close to $4 million.
surplus, we don't like to say cushion, but if you get
2.9,
such a tight
one-
budget that you're not able to move monies around and make it work for our school, that was what happened, and that's what Chris's point was. If you don't have anything to rely on and the aid is affected, you're kind of handcuffed. So we're trying to get a little bit more visual for the future, and as we try to fortify our future, we want to make sure we're not handcuffed financially, because part of our future is dependent on our financial health. And right now, we have actually gotten off fiscal health stress list. We're now in a very good fiscal health. And some of that is because we're now seeing forward thinking and the people that we have on board, they're allowing me to understand where to navigate. Because I'm not a buildings and grounds person, I'm not a special ed person, but being able to communicate as you have a full-time business office official, being able to tap into resources.
how many you got in the office?
Right now, we have 3.
3?
But we're bringing it back to Fort Edward, so it's gonna be a lot more efficient, it's gonna be a lot more transparent, so we actually know where our monies are going. But again, having communication with our other staff has allowed us to have a better view in our future.
Maybe there's always a 2.
Well, there's a lot more state regulations.
Yeah, I know that.
And so we need to make sure we're not
I have no
doing
problem.
every hat for one person, because I can't approve a bill and pay for the bill. That's where you get the fraudulent stuff happening, so a school district really should operate with at least a minimum of 3 people.
Where's their budget now? It's $44 for 100,000, right? That's the one you're gonna go with. So I know next year we're gonna add money to the fund balance, right?
We are. Thank you. I appreciate everybody.
Okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now get off your back.
I enjoy talking with you.
Thank you for redoing
He's got a
that.
big back, don't worry about it.
That's right, that's broad shoulders.
That'll end our capital project and our budget hearing. My name's again Rich DeMalley, for anybody out there listening, and for you guys here in the crowd. My cell phone number is 518-866-9722. You're more than welcome to text me, call me anytime. I will find answers to your questions, give you those questions, or pass them on to Chris.
Yeah, but not on your motorcycle.
That's funny.
Thank you all for coming today. We'll take a brief pause for people that want to exit, that were only here for those things, and then we'll move over to our regular board meeting and start that in 5 minutes. Thank you all.
Should be good, I'm just gonna confirm that it's
Like,
audio.
Test, test.
Okay, good.
Hearing folks, please join for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You ready, please, do the roll call.
Okay. Tom Roach.
Here.
Ella Collins. Here. Sean Guglielmo.
Here.
Tim Clark.
Here.
Taylor Roger. Here. Audra All. Here. And Sarah Bashinsky. Here.
All right. I need a motion to accept this evening's agenda. John, second. Tim. All in favor? Aye. All right, we're up to recreation success.
Again, I'm Rich DeMalley, Superintendent of School, and we'd like to recognize the success of Natalie Durkee. We congratulate Natalie Durkee, who recently had her short story, The Strange Teapot, published in the Wild Words Adirondack Teen Writing Anthology. Natalie's short story was one of 70 poems / short stories chosen for publication out of 150 submissions. She was also one of 20 writers chosen to read a portion of her short story at the anthology book launch held in Saranac Lake on 4/27. We would ask Miss Natalie Durkee to come up and accept this certificate of excellence.
Thanks, John.
Okay, community comments, we do have one, a public comment period not to exceed 30 minutes, so each shall be provided each business meeting in an effort to provide an opportunity for all interested speakers. All speakers shall be limited to 3 minutes during the public comment period. Community members who wish to address the board are requested to complete the speaker request form and submit it to the clerk of the board prior to the meeting. Comments regarding agenda items taken prior to the meeting's adjournment. The meeting of the board or the superintendent will respond that the BOE received and reviewed the comments. When a member of the public speaks to the board, they shall state their name and address, the name of the organization, if any, which they represent, and the agenda item that they wish to comment on. Please be aware that by law, individual student information or particular personal issues cannot be discussed at public sessions of the board. The board will not permit interruptions, slanders, remarks, or name calling by speakers or the audience. We take public comment very seriously and careful notes will be taken. However, the board generally does not respond while the meeting is in public session. That being said, we do have one discussion.
Hello again, after a little break taken from the board and board meetings. After 2 years ago at the budget meeting, after that meeting, I said to myself, I can't go back there for a while. And I'm gonna tell you what happened. I was sitting next to my daughter Taylor, who was sitting up there. She was about to get on the school board. She already been through the election, and I came to the board because for the 10 years we were on the board, we went through, go from 3 to 2 principals, back to 3, which is a decision we made because the superintendent at that time told us he needed it. And then we went right back down to 2, okay? Because we didn't even need that. And everybody's going, well, the times have changed, and they really have. If you want to look at the demographics of this village, it hasn't changed in 20 years. Okay, the only thing that has changed is the way that we're dealing with students, right? These students did not have guidance and expectations and consequence at home. No one tells them what, the ones I'm talking about. not all. The ones I'm talking about, everybody knows kind of the demographics we're talking about, kids that get in trouble in school, things like this. In fact, they're not learning anything at home and they don't have any backup, they don't have anything. So, there's only one place for them to learn that, it's a school, right? Expectation and consequence. Because that's the ground floor of learning what's right and wrong in life with children. And I worked in juvenile justice for 20 years. I know what I'm talking about here. I've seen all, and especially the demographic we're talking about. Those were the kids I worked with every day in their homes. So, and in a criminal justice sense, not kids that are in trouble, not kids that just maybe don't have the best life. So, the way you deal with them, okay, if you give people, say, okay, you haven't ever learned this, you do things wrong, and for student A, they have a good home life, right? Their parents teach them right from wrong, they do that, here's the consequence, right? But this kid doesn't have such a good life, right? Do you do the same thing? Is it, this is the consequence for this punishment, or if you do this wrong, this is the punishment. Consequence, right? To your expectation. Do we do that? We do not. And what that causes is what we see outside. Increases the crime rate, people that do not know how to behave in society. Okay, it doesn't matter what your home looks like. Once you come into this building, everybody gets treated equally. Not what you think individually each person thinks is equal. What is equal? It means we made a rubric when Sam Raddy was here. It assessed everything that you can do in this school, right? Wrong. It said if you do it the first time, this is the punishment. The second time, this is the punishment. Every kid in the school is treated exactly equally, which is what society does to you the minute you turn 18 and leave here, okay? You do that when you go to work, you think they're gonna say, oh geez, you got a bad marriage, you got things going on. And I know they're kids, but they learn their behavior in elementary school. After that, it's irrelevant. Once kids get up to junior high and high school and they don't know, and they don't respect right and wrong and consequence, good luck, and then you gotta turn them over to the system. The reason why you feel like you need another administrator is because we're creating so much more work, because we're trying to work on theory. In theory, it's progressive, right? So we're working on theory because you say this is the way we want the world to be. But it doesn't work, because look at what we've done. Look at society. Look at the communities. Look at everything, right? In 1996, I decided to leave the sheriff's, or 1997, I decided to leave the sheriff's department to go to work at Alternative Sentencing for something called restorative justice. I was 23 years old and a fool, okay? I watched what at the time, we were making differences in kids. We were coming in, we were teaching them the values. We were teaching those consequences and what you have to do to become an adult, right? You have to become an adult and then you're gonna be on your own. Your mommy's not there anymore. You have to be able to act within a certain range and you're gonna get rewarded for doing that. There's reward in good behavior and getting through and getting good grade. All that stuff's reward. And you know, the reason we moved back to 2 principals in the first place is because we didn't have the discipline problems anymore. And now we're talking about 2 years later after I went to that board meeting and asked the board. I said to Mark Besson, who was brought in to continue, let's face it, to Stan Majeka, which is another, I'm gonna get this one out of my mind right now since I have to. I don't wanna do this here. Stan Majeka and John Godfrey applied for the interim principal in this job. We didn't hire those guys. They both worked at the school for 10+ years and ran it. Stan Majeka, his son was the principal of Stillwater, a thriving school district for years. He came in here, you hired Mark Besson because he was the one to put the nail in the coffin of this school. And then I read this week, which really which puts me right over the edge. A Facebook post by a student sent to me by 100 community members, which goes right back to what her father has echoed since the day he got on this board. That is somehow, anything happens at this school positive for a Fort Edward kid that grew up here or their parents grew up here, it's somehow a negative, right?
Does someone keep you on task?
I'm not asking you to speak. I'm saying my community comment.
This is my room right now.
No,
so
it's
I'm
not
asking you to
your
stay on
room.
top.
It's not your room. It's the board's room. You're just a piece of it. And it's about time you learn that. Or resign today after it's you everybody knows. After you get your problems with the boiler, no, we're not done yet. After your problems with the boiler, Chase Ken Chester, the best building and grounds guy in this area. Glens Falls superintendent of grounds, right? $150 a year he makes. He made $68,000 here. He wouldn't give Tom Roche his master key when he was doing the drama club. And he asked him, and you asked him in the hallway, do you like your job? He left.
It's a lot.
That's not a lie.
It's an absolute.
Well, Ken Chester, myself, and Bart LaPointe will be write-ins on the board. We'll do it. We have Taylor. Bye-bye, Tom Roche. And we'll do it our way. Once we get on here. We'll do it our way. I'm done with the nonsense here. This is a conservative, Republican, conservative, Democrat, Christian community. The progressives and stuff is over here. And talking about nepotism, are you kidding me? Liv Fisher? She doesn't have a single relative that works in the school, but she has the biggest voting family. Real smart.
That's great, we'll have 2 more ballots.
Real smart.
That's great, that's great.
Well, the only person people want out of this community town is you. That's why you've been kicked off every board you're on. Goodbye, buddy. Your damage has been done, and it's all over.
Let's resume the meeting. Sorry. You know, in my purview yet.
Oh, yeah?
Members of the same family.
I would like you to tell me why.
We can talk about this after the meeting, how's that?
Well, now you're calling out me being on the board as a board member, Tom. Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good attendance record as well. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, bye-bye, you're done, actually, in June, right?
That's my choice.
Awesome, it's gonna be great.
So let's get back to business here.
Mr. Top Notch over here.
And we do,
Somebody who doesn't say anything to you, Tom.
I'm sorry?
Me, right here. Doesn't say a word to you, ever. You are?
You want now?
What'd you say?
I said you want now.
Because you just said some, 2 more vouchers on the board, great.
Yeah.
Who says that when there's I'm sitting right here?
You're one that's on the board now. I think another one might be a mistake. I didn't say anything about it.
Okay, thank God, your personal opinion is your personal opinion.
Have a good
night.
Can we move on now?
I don't know, do you want to, Tom?
Budget and Finance Committee, met this evening, had the budget here. Right, and then all there, do we need any of these committee meetings to take place over the next time?
Probably athletic at some point, and again, personnel, because we have the FES contract.
Okay, so anyone on this committee's case moves to anyone? All right, report, superintendent report, yours.
All right. Staff vacancies for 24-25. Spanish. We are filling tonight. School psychologist, we are filling tonight. So the anticipated vacancies we have are for special education teacher, a TA, a full-time cleaner, an administrator for director of student development. Athletics, spring sports have started, and they're coming to a close. Baseball had a tough loss against Granville, 2-1 last Friday night for the Adirondack League Championship. Hard fought, lost at the bottom of the 7th. Softball, we had major concerns about softball. They've won their last 2 games. We're very proud of those girls. And they will be playing in sectionals this Thursday, so we wish them luck. Tennis won the Adirondack League Championship. And I assume the baseball seedings were over the weekend. Amanda, can you confirm?
I'm sorry.
Baseball seedings, were they this weekend?
Yes,
Do we know where we are, or don't we? I don't know.
I probably should.
Yeah, okay, no.
Well, if you could text. Ukulele, yoga, intro to weight room, which I led and was well attended. Meditation, walking with Casey, and cornhole and relaxation through arts and crafts, which all were led by our own staff members, except for yoga. That was led by a sibling of one of our staff members. So we thank all of those. And we thank Sandy Wagner. He did How AI Can Work for You for our staff members, which was fantastic. And Chris and I, at the very end, did another budget presentation and a capital project presentation for our faculty, which was great. Thank you to the PTO and my administrative colleagues for a wonderful Teacher Appreciation Week. The staff was so excited about all the things that we had provided for them during the week. And we thank you guys for helping us with the snacks and the lunch. And obviously we ran out of lunch and then making up for that too. So
They
thank
really
you.
like that chicken.
They did like the chicken.
Everything raved about the food, so.
And again, oh, I'm sorry. And then my last thing is, community, please come out and cast your vote for the budget and our capital project next Tuesday, May 21st. Polls are open from noon to 8 p.m. And that's all I have for
Just a
this.
question, so for the state testing, that's turned probably had a big part of that. So I know you guys had a big push to get people to participate. Do you know what the hurdles were, or is it something we're gonna reevaluate and try to do for the next year?
Well, yes. I think the hurdle is, number one, I don't think we are providing enough information of the impact or non-impact of state assessments. I also don't think we're providing enough information on why it's important to sit for the test and take those things. So I think we need to do an earlier push and provide out better facts and, have maybe, since we're small enough, have one-on-one conversations, because we do know the students that decided not to participate or were absent on that day. So we're just gonna keep plugging away at it. But we have to do a better job of relaying better information and factual information.
I know you guys definitely had a push and tried to get them.
Amanda has a
Can-
comment.
Yeah.
I know you're not supposed to jump in, but can I just jump in quick? I think the bottom line is, the state allows parent choice in that, bottom line. And so, yes, you can educate, you can inform, all of those things, but it is a parent's choice. And whether we agree with that parent's choice or not, it is parent choice. And so I think the participation rate, it is what it is, and it's one of those numbers, you do what you can to check your boxes. But it comes down to being a place where people have a choice and they have a say.
Why, I don't mean to cut you off, but you may know the answer. Why did we move to a parent choice opt-in, opt-out thing for assessment?
You'd have to
Not
ask,
us, but I mean, the state.
I can't answer that question, I don't know,
I
that
don't
was a
remember.
commissioner decision.
I don't
I don't understand the logic of that.
Maybe more education, maybe the parents get more education.
But there's no makeup for that, right? If kids are absent on that day.
There is,
There's a whole
yes,
window.
there is.
Yeah, unless they get a note, like if they bring in a note or practices, then they get opted out, but really, if they're just absent, we do try to make that up.
So it really is 30% opt-out letters.
Yeah, they bring in letters.
It's probably pretty comparable to a lot of other areas, small districts. Because your numbers are so low to start. And then you get a cluster that don't take them. And your number just goes in the toilet.
I'm gonna do that research on the other area schools when they have a chance, I just haven't had a chance, because I am curious about it.
All right, next up is people services.
Right, so I just have a few things. We had our kindergarten case screenings last week on May 8th, 9th, and 10th. The team worked hard to screen 18 of our current UPK students. And then we had nearly about 20 or so preschoolers and other incoming kindergartners. So I just wanted to say a big thank you to Ms. LeBaron, Ms. Ferguson was there taking pictures, making sure we had all the registration paperwork. We had related service team members that were doing testing for speech. We also had our kindergarten teachers that were doing some other types of testing, as well as our gym teachers that were doing physical therapy type testing. So it went pretty smooth, so I'd like to just say a big thank you to everybody that helped out with that. On April 20th, we had the Washington County Area Music Teachers Association All-County Band Concert. It's a mouthful. I wanted to just send a big congratulations to Mr. Smith. He got selected to be the senior band conductor, and Miss Taylor served as the senior band chairperson. We had about 14 students from elementary school to high school that went and played and were selected to be a part of the all-county band. They did a great job. It's crazy the turnaround time that they get to actually learn the pieces and practice it with their group. So just very proud to see all of them and their efforts. The CSE office has been busy with annual review meetings. From after break to about last week, we had about 40 IEP meetings. At this point, I'm hoping to have every annual review done by June 4th. We were flagged for disproportionality because we did have too many students of a particular race placed in outside district or outside placements, either BOCES or Prospector are our two main places that we send students that do have some higher needs than we can accommodate. We did have our regional associate come in to conduct a compliance review, and we did pass, so we are in compliance based on the policies and procedures that we do have in place. I did receive an email probably an hour before this meeting that we are selected to have a focused intervention targeted skills group come in. So a member from the Regional Partnership Center will come in and do some training on placements. So I did reach out to our regional office to get more details on that, so I will hope to have you updated next board meeting on what that will entail. And then,
Sorry, I'm
go
just
ahead.
gonna pause you.
Yeah.
So I hope you caught that piece because, you know, last report from Mallory was, we got a clean bill of health from, you know, our placements of students outside with IEPs. And then we got a letter today saying, hey, the state is gonna bring in a group to educate you on your disproportionality of placements. So we're a little confused as to where we're going.
Culture diversity. Yeah.
What's that?
We're not like ultra diversity.
And I think, you know, given our demographics, that's something that we're going to probably encounter as years go on. So, you know, maybe if this email was not sent in error, that, you know, we can get some, you know, tricks and tools to help alleviate, you know, getting those disproportionality for placements. So we will hopefully have more information for everybody next time. It did. And then just lastly, we have received 3 program requests from students that are out of district at this point. It is kind of a crazy time with people finishing up annual reviews, and BOCES is also working on doing screening for their programs. So I anticipate maybe if we do have some students that aren't selected to go to BOCES, we may end up getting more program requests from those students in those districts that are unable to find placements. That's all I have.
Steve, you're up. Really? Yes, sir. All right.
Time's up. Can I have the element of surprise? Come on, give me a break. Well, it's been since I last talked to everybody, it's been quite the time of trying to get our boiler project all wrapped up. That's good news that that's finally gonna happen. We can say it's done. I had a couple of small things that's gotta be done. Campito is coming in and take care of the 2 small items that we have, and we're gonna get them taken care of. I had some problems with some univents in New Meadow area. I've been working on that. I coil froze up on me, about a month ago. Got froze up on me and, so it's cracked, so I've gotta get that repaired. I'm working on that. The DLL room, we have mentioned about this a couple other times in discussions, and finally got a quote from Greenwood Roof Services to get an outside vent and get it piped into the unit so that the unit will function properly. This unit is not new. It's nothing new to what's been going on with it. This has been going on for about 5 years with this unit not functioning properly. And so I'm bound determined that we're gonna get to the bottom of the whole. When they put a wall in over there in that area and made another separate room, that's when everything didn't go right for the room. They're actually using this ceiling area that you would be looking at here and the roof, which is just above it. There's about 2 foot of space. They're actually using that air that's in that area to go to this unit, and that's what's creating a lot of the problem. It needs outside ventilation. It's, according to the state, you're supposed to have at least 10 to 15% of outside air coming in for the students, so that you get a positive airflow and you get everything, you're keeping fresh air in for the students. And so I can't believe that it was set up that way to start with, but that's what they were doing. So I've been working with on that and the coil. I finally feel like we're making some ground on the locks in the whole school. We've had lockdowns and we had some voids, and the locks haven't been working in these areas, and finally I've gotten the locks all fixed, and now they're working, and now we can have a true blue lockdown and all the areas are secured. So I feel better about that. We had an interview today in Rich with a gentleman, and it seems good. This guy seems to have it down, and I'm hoping to get him on board. We get him fingerprinted and everything, get him on board. I'm really, really happy that we can finally have a full cleaning crew and get this school to the point where we want to be. I mean, the talk today was very, very good for me, because they talked about raising the school up, and he said, well, what do you mean raise the school up? Well, my part is to make the school clean and a healthy environment for our children to learn. That's my little segment of it. Whatever everybody else does to do that, that's what they got to do. But I'm really happy the way the school is coming along and progressing in a very positive way. So that's all I have.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, next up, we got consent agenda. I need a motion for consent agenda items A through E.
Motion?
John, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, looking at designations, start fire. I would like a motion for designations A through G. Audrey? John, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Policy readings. This is the need a motion to approve the second reading of policy 7132, non-resident students. Hello?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then policy, I need a motion for policy 1640, absentee military and early mail ballots. Need a motion. Audrey?
Second?
Any discussion? In favor?
Aye.
All right, action. On action items, I need a motion to accept A through E, please.
Can we put these separate?
Sorry?
Can we do these separate?
Sure, yeah. I have a motion for action item, if I'm okay with doing separate. Action item A, I need a motion to adopt 7132.
Motion.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the contract between Fort Edward UFSD and Hudson Headwaters Health Network position for the 2024-2025 school year. Ella, John, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Need a motion to approve the contract between the Fort Edward UFSD and CWI, 2024-2025. John?
Second.
Tim? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the following resolution. The Board of Education hereby creates the following positions effective May 14th, 2024. Special education teacher, 1 FTE, elementary teacher, 1 FTE, cleaner, teaching assistant, director of student development, and business management. Good motion.
Motion.
Tim? Audra? Any discussion?
Yeah, I have some discussion on this one. I didn't know until I got this agenda that we're gonna be putting them all on together, so unfortunately I'm gonna be voting on them all the same way tonight. I do notice that we decided on the name of Director of Student Development for our next administrative position. I've always been of the position since the beginning of this that we do not need another administrator. At this point, this would be 4. We don't even have 400 kids in the school. It would be more than 1 administrator per 100 kids. We do need to go back to brass tacks and get a rubric for what we're doing, first offenses, second offenses, whatever the deal may be. Maybe we need to be more in one halls as the current administration we currently have. I don't know what it is, but with less than 400 kids, I really cannot see why we would possibly need another administrator. So that's my position.
Any other discussion? Okay, so all in favor? Let's see, raise your hands. Opposed? So moved. And I need a motion to approve the following resolution. Be resolved for Board of Education, approve the budget transfer of $575,612.56 from account 2110. As read. Any motion?
Motion.
Second. John, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Down to personnel, all appointments are subject to change in compensation proration pending emergency school closing and required reductions in force. All coaching appointments are made pending completion and verification of all required coaching credentials with a stipend for FNTA contract commensurate with experience and no other salary or benefits. All coaching extracurricular appointments are subject to reduction in compensation proration pending final student enrollment numbers and pending the outcome of any potential mergers and emergency closings. That being said, can I have a motion for A and B, please?
Motion.
Tim? Sarah? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Need a motion to accept the retirement of Toby Bissett effective June 28, 2024.
Motion.
Tim? Sarah? We appreciate your service, Toby. Thank you so much for all the years. Yes. Congratulations on retirement. All in favor?
Aye.
She will be
very nice.
Need a motion for D through H, please.
Motion.
Tim?
Second.
Taylor? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Need a motion to appoint special education teacher Megan Hedwell. Audrey? Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Welcome aboard. Now I need a motion to appoint math teacher Robert Rathburn.
Motion.
Tim? John? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome. I need a appointment to appoint school psychologist Lauren Keller. Need a motion, please.
Motion.
Tim? John? Any discussion? All in favor? I need a motion to appoint summer academy coordinator, Ms. Funk. Hello? Any discussion? All in favor? Very good. Now I have a motion for L. Sorry, right? I have a motion for M.
Motion.
I'm sorry. Motion for M through W, please. Audrey.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you to everyone who's signed up for the Summer Academy and all these various positions. We very much appreciate it. I think we have some more comments.
I did not get any.
No, we're not. Okay. That being said, need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Yeah. John? All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, folks. No exec this evening.
I'm gonna have the stuff for you to sign, so don't.
I know, this is your homework. This is yours. You can have it.
Oh, thank you.